This week on the Owner's Pride podcast, there sure are a lot of marketing companies out there asking to take your money to help you grow your business. Here on the Owner's Pride podcast, we invite them to come on and share what they can do for you. A little bit of research goes a long way into making sure that your marketing company choice is actually going to work for you. If you enjoy the Owner's Pride podcast, please take a minute to like, subscribe, and share. It is oh so important. With no further ado, let's dig into Vexa Digital Marketing and see what they can do for you.
Welcome to the Owner's Pride podcast, where we discuss all aspects of auto detailing with successful detailers and industry leaders around the world. From San Diego, California, your host and our friend, Dan E. Williams. Take it away, Danny.
Welcome to the Owner's Pride podcast. Today on the Owner's Pride podcast, I have Mr. Luke Howell from Vexa Digital Marketing, the owner, CEO of Vexa Digital Marketing. Luke, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Dan, how are you?
Absolutely fabulous. And this is probably may or may not resonate, but every time I hear Luke, I think of the movie Cool Hand Luke.
Okay, yeah. I get that one or Star Wars. So as I get older, I think when you're young, everybody talks about Star Wars, but as you kind of age, it kind of turns into more of that now. So we'll see. Maybe there'll be a new movie come out soon. We'll have something else.
I've just dated myself. All right. So Vexa Digital Marketing, before we dive into your background and how you got your company to where it is, give me just a really 10,000 foot view of what Vexa Digital Marketing does.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So we are obviously a marketing agency. We really focus on marketing and sales systems. We do actually offer consulting now as well. And getting in the space, we've seen there's a lot of need, beyond just providing, methods for new customer acquisition, methods for getting, brand awareness and such of those components out. So we do a lot more of the education standpoint now as well, doing, like I said, some sales training, going in, helping some, guys with mindset, things like that as well. But we work, in e-commerce. We still have a little bit of that, but mainly, why I wanted to visit with you today is we really focus a lot on the auto detailing space. We have auto detailers in 3 different countries actually right now. So we've got the US, Canada, and we just signed a client in Slovenia, so over in Central Europe. Oh, wow. So we're very excited for what's coming up for us as we continue to push in this space more. And at the end of the day, we're out here on a mission to help change lives and help more detailers grow their business and spend more time with their families, be able to do what they love and just help them reach their goals.
And did you come at this? Were you ever in the auto detailing industry yourself?
No, I actually wasn't. It's kind of interesting. I tell a lot of people my background is in healthcare. I went to school for 6.5 years to be a physical therapist. So I do have a doctorate degree. So technically I'm a doctor. I tell people that sometimes, just to mess with them. I guess.
Hey, if I was a doctor, I would tell everybody that. And I would probably just be like, you could just call me doc.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of funny. One of the guys that works with us at Vexa, he is former military. He's a veteran. So one of our clients one day, was calling us Doc and Sarge just because, we've got kind of that dynamic going. So we thought that was funny. It kind of stuck a little bit. But yeah, have a healthcare background. After a few years doing that, kind of had an entrepreneur bug, was doing little side hustles to kind of just see what opportunities were out there to make money. Got into the digital marketing space, worked with some small businesses on different levels. From there, got into some franchises, got into real estate.
Was there any connection between the physical therapy and doing the digital marketing? Like how did you make that jump? I mean, you're just sitting on your computer one day and thought, I can build a better mousetrap? Or, there had to be some sort of a catalyst where because that's apples and oranges.
No, great question. Yeah. So, when I was in physical therapy, like I said, I kind of, had like this entrepreneur bug, was doing some side hustles, had started a media company where we, of all things, I had a drone. I was like, oh, the drones are cool. This was back in 2017, 2018. And at that time, I was able to do aerial photography and videography a lot for real estate kind of on the side. So it was like this just a little side gig I had from that. I had a couple people reach out and approach me that were videographers. they're like, hey, we'd like to work together. That then allowed us to we started doing like music festivals, and then we got into creating like promo videos and stuff for businesses. And so the connection here is, with that on the side, we were making these, high-end production quality video products for, whatever it may be, turf companies, music fests. And then we saw this disconnect where they weren't really using that media to make money off it. They would kind of show it at like an expo or something, but weren't really leveraging the highest ROI they could get on that. Well, so that was kind of, spinning. I kind of had that thought in my head of like, hey, these guys aren't using this for money. And then sure enough, I was on the computer one day and saw this Facebook ad, and it was like, these people in Hawaii, and they're like, we can travel and work from anywhere and, work remote. We help small businesses get customers. And that's kind of what got me interested in it. And then, just as my experience grew and my knowledge grew, and it, went into e-commerce, did a lot there. And then got some auto detailer clients just from a network, that I'm a part of. And then we started really seeing the results that we were getting for those guys. We were like, hey, we're really onto something here. And so I would say probably, December or probably even sooner than that, October of last year is when we really were like, hey, let's go all in on this and see if we can't, really create something, significant and notable to help these guys out.
So you were in one of the B2B networking groups? Yeah. For me personally, I'm a big self improvement, self-development guy, working on my mindset all the time and just coaching, learning. I think one thing that going to physical therapy school and getting my doctorate helped me was just become, a student of life. It made me appreciate just learning. And so I'm always looking to better myself, see what people are, doing out there that are more successful than me, how they got there, realizing that these are just humans too. We're all humans. We all have the same, resources and capabilities, out there. And so, yeah, just getting into some of these networks that I've paid to be a part of, that were a lot of business owners in a lot of different industries, has really helped, me personally just kind of see the ins and outs of what's out there. And, with business, a lot of the principles from, maybe in operations or just marketing, some of the core like foundations a lot of times kind of overlap. So you see like, what's helped this company grow really well. You can kind of take, like I said, those core principles and then apply those to maybe something else, or see how you could put a spin on that and, maybe make that something unique or something, really, really impressive for whatever that other industry may be. Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of business concepts in sales and marketing are going to be applicable across many industries, because the psychology behind it is virtually the same thing. You're selling things to humans.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it seems like it would be valuable to actually, if a company was only in one space, it seems like they would be shorting themselves and their clients by not being able to reach across the aisle and pull something from the wedding planning industry or something, for example. So, no.
Yeah. And, the industries are always evolving, and that's why, you want to be kind of on the forefront. And that's why I love marketing too, because we kind of get to see like, where things are always going, and, maybe seeing like what technology is coming, or what, big businesses are doing that might have kind of that step ahead. So like, hey, what is Amazon doing right now that small businesses may pick up in a year or two, whether it's a software, whether it's an approach, whatever that may be, or whether it's just, e-commerce, anything like that. And, like I said, if you can kind of, pick up on some of these trends, or just be aware and maybe think openly or creatively, you might really find something, valuable to apply, like you said, reaching across the aisle to your own business, that, you may start becoming the market leader and people are jumping on your idea. And then you have first movers advantage, and it could be very rewarding for you.
And I know that we've had on the podcast, a lot of marketing guys that are working for detailers in this space, and we've stayed pretty agnostic. I just like to get people on here, grill them with some questions, and let people make their own choices. So I'm really glad that you're on here. Your hat, or your name is in the hat. I'm trying to use way too many cliches today. This will be
I appreciate you having me, definitely.
But the detailers in their business, so being a small business, even if they have employees, which a lot of the guys don't, there may be one guy with a helper or maybe with one employee, or some of them are solo, or some of them have a few employees, but you only have so many hours in a day. And I know, because I work with so darn many detailers, that the guys who are utilizing a marketing company, you just cannot do everything yourself. So I often have used the example, I pay somebody to come and take care of my, front yard and trim the bushes, and do that once a month, because I can make more money than I'm going to pay that guy, only so many hours in a day.
Exactly.
And what do you see as you talk to people? Like, what kind of percentage of the guys in the detailing world are you seeing that are coming to you? And when they come to you, about where is your rate of being able to help them out? Like, is it 10% of the people that call and talk to you end up working out? And then, and I know this is a ridiculously long question.
No, I love this question.
But on the other side, when people don't take you up on business, what kind of reasons are you seeing that they have?
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So, no, those are great questions, and I abide by those myself. One thing that we definitely say or talk about a lot in our company, lots of business owners do this. I think it's just part of the game as you're starting out. But you're wearing all the hats. You're wearing the marketing hat, you're wearing the sales hat, you're wearing the operations hat. Going beyond that, some guys are wearing the husband hat, the father hat. You've got all these roles that you're trying to fulfill. And you do only have so many hours of the day. Now, what happens is people fill those hours of the day with so much of, what we say in the business type of things, that they never really grow the business, and nothing ever really changes. It's kind of this revolving door cycle, every month, every year, if you're not careful. And, when we talk to people, some people are looking for their time back, whether that's so that they can play with their kids or more, go to their games, because detailers are hard workers. We do love this field. We relate to a lot of these guys. They're very hard workers. They're very driven. The issue that we see sometimes is the barrier of entry. And this is the same thing for marketing agencies. So I'm not talking down to anybody, but the barrier of entry is low, to where we see guys on the spectrum that started their business, last month, maybe don't even have a website, a Google My Business listing, a Facebook page or whatever. People like that, to kind of the second part of the question there that we see is they may not have the financial resources yet to be ready to invest in your business. I would say one of the biggest things that helped me as a person in just our business was, as soon as, you do have those means to be able to invest in yourself, in the business, I would say go for it. And I even, early on, I stretched myself thin, just being honest, financially investing in myself. But I knew it's because I saw the bigger picture. I knew, for example, one of the entrepreneur groups, the networks I was talking about earlier, it was $300 a month. And at that time, that was a lot of money for me. And so I was like, man, it's a lot, but I would get clients off of that with the agency, because I'm in this group of all business owners. Hey, if you're the marketing guy, you can get business from that. But it also grew my mindset. It started, showing me how to run a business, how to do lots of this stuff. So going back to the original question, I'm jumping around a little bit here, but we always say, if you're wearing all the hats, the saying is jack of all trades, master of none. And so what ends up happening is, like I said, you go through kind of this revolving door cycle. You never really go anywhere. You get burned out. That's one of the biggest things. We have one of our guys they lost a couple of their employees. So now it's just him and his wife running the shop. They're super busy as it is. He wants to pull his hair out because he's, working 10 hours a day, 7. But so the more you can delegate that stuff sooner, the better, because you're going to have people that are experts in the space, like us in our agency, that really know marketing. And we're looking at, we're working with detailers across, these countries all day, every day. We're seeing sales conversations. We're seeing what we're doing. We're market testing different things, that we're able to stay on the forefront of it. We're going to have the time, we're going to have the knowledge, we're going to have way more experience than typically the average detailer does, to be able to do that. And same thing, even within the business, I would encourage detailers, as soon as you can, outsource the marketing and be able to create consistent. One of the biggest things we focus on is creating consistent and reliable lead flow or sales opportunities. Big thing is, most detailers are reliable on word of mouth. That's not scalable. I can't control who goes and, talks about you over the weekend. Whereas with advertising, usually we have an input and an output, and we can control those variables, based on, what we're doing. But once we can create that, then it allows you to, what's cool is like a lot of our guys, I'll talk about one of our clients, and I'm not trying to like brag or plug us too much, but we've helped one guy go from, here just recently, 5,000 a month back in July of last year to, he just did $50,000 in June. And so it's a huge jump in the business.
Holy macro.
And what we've done basically is focus on those systems and processes. At the end of the day, that's what matters most. You got to be good at detailing. You've got to know how to build a business. This is where a lot of like the education of just how to build a business, mindset, that sort of thing. Because a lot of guys too will tell them, hey, we want to help you get to 50K. When you're at 5K, you might think that's not even possible.
It doesn't seem like it.
Exactly. You'd be surprised the stuff that we see. Whereas, I personally have friends in the space that are doing, 6 figures a month. Now they do have multiple locations and things like that, but we want to remove the ceiling here. We want to remove the ceiling mentally as well. But the more we can create those systems, those processes, allow you to delegate marketing out, then get a salesperson who now handles all your leads. And what's been really cool, not to our credit, we just started with this client a month ago, but when I took the sales conversation with him, he was in an RV, I think in North Carolina, like in the middle of the woods. And him and his family, he owns a shop in New Jersey, and him and his family literally just travel all summer in their RV, and his shop runs without him. And I think that's what a lot of these detailers might miss sometimes is, a business at the end of the day is an asset. Meaning, if you can cash flow and it run, without you, that gives you your time back. Like him, he has 2 kids. So he's with his wife and his 2 kids, basically seeing the country, over the summer while his shop, keeps running. And we want guys to see that that's possible. And I think a lot of them maybe struggle with that. And that's where, we've turned a lot more into kind of consulting and mindset coaching. I don't know if you'd call it that. We're kind of wearing these different hats now. But we want guys, like I said, to see that that's possible. With any business, just because what I talked about earlier, getting around some higher level people, there's a lot of guys, Jeff Bezos isn't in his warehouse, working, shipping packages manually. The same thing with detailing. You can hire people in, you can have a marketing team like us, you can have the sales guy, you can have a shop manager, you can have detailers, and your profit margins all make sense that, you may work 5 hours a week and still make several $1,000s a month.
You look at most successful people, and a lot of the guys as detailers work for affluent people. I know I certainly had a lot of people who were really affluent, and to the whole point, they were paying me to come and take care of their car. They had somebody in that house cleaning the house. They had somebody out there mowing the grass.
Exactly.
And it kind of seemed like they were just hanging out a lot of times.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so take me through this. Like, somebody contacts you, and take me through what kind of typically an onboarding process, like how you would line somebody up. Obviously, you don't have to give away any of the secrets, but entice people of what you would do with them to build them up. And I ask this because some of the marketing companies focus on the front side, where they're focused on like making some kind of a video or ad for you, and then they boost that ad, and then you have to try to close the sales that come in for that. Some of them focus harder on your sales funnels for your existing customers in your CRM. So just kind of give me what you guys do with somebody, and then I'm going to start poking around with all kinds of questions about
that. No, absolutely. I'll tell you everything what we do, because we want to provide value and guys to kind of know what we focus on. So when somebody comes on, there's mainly 3 areas that we focus on. And it's what we would consider like your online reputation / your brand authority. And what we mean is like making sure your Google My Business looks good. And if you guys are listening to this, go check this stuff after listening to this. Check your Google My Business, make sure that your hours are on there, make sure you have a description. So Google My Business, if you don't know, I'm in Austin, Texas. If I get on my phone right now and I'm trying to find a detailer and I type it in there, It's going to go off people that are closest to me, and it's going to go off who has, kind of just the best SEO optimization, so to speak, of Google Maps. And the ways you can enhance that is by having what we call like a complete profile. So having all that stuff in there. In your description, list your services. So auto detailing, ceramic coating, window tint, whatever that you may offer, so that if people are searching those things, it shows up. Same thing like, with your Facebook, it's not, obviously Facebook's not a search engine like Google and things are that way, but make sure your Facebook page, your social media channels are pretty complete. In today's world, a lot of people, especially, are going to look at either your Facebook or your Instagram just to kind of see your work. So,
and for goodness sakes, this just seems like it's really obvious, but you should really kind of refrain from taking too hard of stances when you're in business and your name is connected to that business, whether it's political or religious or any. Yeah, it's America. You're free to talk about whatever you want. But why in the heck would anybody want to do something that's inflames half of the business pool? Because I could spend people's money no matter what they worship or who they vote for.
Right. Yeah. No, I think, I don't think, to each their own, but usually if you can keep a more neutral stance and be friends with everybody and, just one of our philosophies too is just be a good person, do the right thing. Everybody out there, whatever their political beliefs are, religious, whatever, at the end of the day, they're a human too. So, treating people like you would want to be treated. But yeah, so, we really focus on that. So making sure that your profile is complete, your digital footprint, your online, presence is there, just because, we always talk about if people can't even find you, it's going to be nearly impossible to grow your business. And then second thing, looking at like your reviews. So one of the things that we really help our guys is with what we call reputation management. So collecting reviews, having that automated so that if, somebody comes in, leaves their shop, we have a whole system and platform that allows you to do these things. But, we always use the example. If you're going to go to a restaurant, you usually look at like, okay, how many reviews do they have? What are people saying? And, if you see restaurant A has 80, reviews with an average of like 2.5 stars, restaurant B has 1,500 reviews and an average of 4.5 stars, which restaurant?
Yeah.
So same thing. I mean, we do it with Amazon, we do it with all these things. Having that social proof, that validity is big. So that's one of the other, elements we want to focus on. So that's kind of like step one. Basically, there's like 3 phases that we really focus on with detailers. And, these are just kind of the 3, I guess, problem areas, if you want to call it that we are commonly seeing. And probably a lot of this goes with just businesses in general we were talking about. But the second phase then there would be new customer acquisition. So what I was talking about earlier, you want a consistent lead flow. You want consistent opportunities, as we would call them, conversations. Having those conversations every day. If somebody needs help, somebody has a need for something. So within that phase, I know we could get really deep on this, but yeah, we do. So as far as like what we provide, we run Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube ads, any combination where everything's going to be relevant to help you. Google, the big thing there, the value in Google ads, just at a high level, somebody searching ceramic coating. If I'm in Austin right now, I'm searching ceramic coating, yes, you're going to have your SEO people down there, but your ads that are running on those keywords are going to be at the top. Usually you're going to get more attention there. You can have some sort of offer if you're running that too. You're really going to get a lot more of the traffic that way. So Google ads, again, people searching for you online gives you kind of an advantage. Obviously you're paying for it, but there's generally a really good ROI on that because of just the search volume on Google in general. Facebook, Instagram, a little bit different approach. People are on Facebook and Instagram to kill time. Nobody, staying on the topic of ceramic coating, nobody's like, hey, I'm thinking about ceramic coating for my truck. Let me go get on Facebook and Instagram. Who's got the best offer today? Nobody's doing that. They're killing time at work. They just watched a cat video or something funny, and now we try to get their attention. So in marketing, there is very strategic, and being creative. So you want to have a good hook, meaning you want to get their attention, stop their scroll, whether that be with a video of, maybe showing, like a lot of times what we'll do is we'll use videos of ceramic coating of like pouring water on, maybe a coated versus uncoated side so people can see the hydrophobic properties. Maybe it's like a reflection. We like to use, when guys paint corrects, the like reflection, those pictures that kind of make you like, oh, what the heck is that? In real life. We've got a really cool one. It's the Silverado's like tailgate. but like it looks like you're in the garage and you just see like the Chevy emblem. So like it like messes with people's heads. So they look at, oh wow, and then they realize how impressive it is. So things like that. And for anybody listening, start thinking about these things too, of like what's going to be interesting to the consumer. You got to put yourself in their shoes. And you got to remember too that a lot of the people that might see some of this stuff, they never have heard of ceramic coating, may not know paint correction, may not know much about window tint, detailing, whatever it is that you're offering. I think that's something that people struggle with is, they may think they're just selling to the car guys, or they may think about like, well, if I was buying, what would I want to see? And you've got to kind of disconnect from that. And like we said, look at that bigger picture. Creatives, copy, things like that are big, than just having some sort of information. For our system, we use a landing page. We drive ads to a landing page that's more of like a sales page, very informative about what ceramic coating is or whatever the service is that we're talking about, and then have a form, that they can reach out on. And the reason that we like this method too, that we talk about versus like a website. So your website, somebody is going to come to your website looking for you typically already, or, if they're searching in Google, ceramic coating, auto detailing, they might land on your website. The problem with websites is there's a lot of stuff on there. You may offer window tint, ceramic coating, paint correction. You may have 4 packages of details. You may have 4 packages of ceramic coating. The more decisions people have to make, the more overwhelmed they feel. And their level of intent might not match like, what am I trying to say? Like all the potential possibilities there, that it overwhelms them and then they just fall out. So if you can, we call it like taking the person's hand and kind of like walking and guiding them through the process. That's what we want. We want to show them, hey, here's this product. Here's the benefits of what it can do for you. Here's how it's going to make your life better. Let's start a conversation about it. Then, have kind of sell to them. So if they have a big truck that they're going out on the weekends camping, talk about the benefits of, why they need coating when they're off-roading or whatever versus, maybe something's just daily driving versus sports car or whatever. And that's where kind of like the sales, consulting, coaching, I would say anybody listening to this too, sales is always going to be a skill set that's going to be extremely valuable for you in life, whether you stay a detailer, whether you decide to go sell, like become a medical sales rep. I don't know, if you know how to sell and like we talked about, Dan, I know you're a big psychology guy, but
I would say everything in life is really sales and negotiation, whether you're trying to get your kid to go to bed or, or your wife to go to bed. It's really all, it's all sales and negotiation.
No, you're right though. It really is. It really is. So, the more, you can read or just learn or watch YouTube. The beauty of like today's, day and age is we have so many free resources, like YouTube in itself. You could type in like sales training on YouTube and spend 10 hours on there and probably, be 5 times better at sales next week just by, watching some videos. So definitely invest in that education. And then as you get more experience.
So, and I guess I'm kind of interrupting your flow a little, but so we talked about Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. Are those really your main places that detailers are going to have the most success? And I ask because I see a lot of the guys now talking about doing stuff on TikTok, and probably a person who gets a ceramic coating, like the avatar for that customer, is going to be between 45 and 60 and of a certain, economic status. That's the hot market for this product, right? Because they have enough money and they can afford it. So I think that TikTok is really more of a younger person's thing, where you might be burning your brand name into an 18-year-old person's head, but they ain't going to come and get their car ceramic coated probably. So
right.
It's almost spinning your wheels if you're going on the wrong channel. And so being able to really boil that down into what's the most important, because again, it goes even for you, if you're doing the business for them, there's only so many hours in a day and you have multiple clients. You can't advertise on everything. So a 3-minute blowing wind for me, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are your most successful detailing channels.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, and I would say Google, just because you want that search traffic is out there. So to me, that's, we talk about like if we're going fishing, think about the analogy of fishing. Like if we know there's a big pond of fish there that are hungry, we want to have our line in the water to at least give ourselves the chance. So on Google, if you don't have good SEO, especially, I think everybody should be running Google Ads, because you want to at least put yourself up there on top of the page when somebody searches ceramic coating. Because again, so Facebook, Instagram, and Google, to answer your question, the big difference is Google, a lot higher intent because they're looking for the service. Facebook, Instagram, usually we're educating them, showing them, hey, this exists, then trying to like teach them more about it, start the conversation. Much lower level of intent, still very valuable though, because
so something flashier on a Facebook to catch their attention and draw them in, something more factual through Google to give them the information because they're already warm. That makes sense. Huh. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you guys do websites for people also? Are you holistic in the whole marketing and from A to Z?
We don't do websites, and the reason being is we have our own landing pages. So the advantage of like the system that we implement for guys is we have so many detailers. We've run these landing pages. We've split tested them. The copy, the way they're laid out, we know what's going to convert pretty well. Now I guess technically you could do that same thing with websites where you go try to implement this templatized kind of website that would convert. But we don't do that as much. I mean, to me, websites are still good, but a lot of people are just so active on social media and all these other things that, with a good landing page, like I said, and then again, like I kind of mentioned earlier, is it
even relevant for them to have a website? Because done right, those are super expensive, and then they have to be nurtured all the time because of how algorithms change. And not only is it got to look fancy on the front, but you have to have the proper words on the front and the proper words on the back.
It definitely still is, because it's more of that credibility aspect. If somebody's like sees you on Facebook or Google, which I mean, to even run Google Ads, you have to have a website, because not technically, you could run those to a landing page, but people are usually going to research you, see what it looks like. And honestly, the thing about a website is, and don't get me wrong, you're still going to get, contact forms from your website, things like that. I'm not saying, that they're bad or anything, but you want it to look good, because honestly, I think it hurts some guys that do have a website and then the website looks crappy, for lack of a better term, that especially in the clientele that you're attracting, somebody that, maybe more affluent, let's say, and maybe has multiple cars, that might want you to ceramic coat, might want you to be, come mobile wash or want to detail for them every week. If they go to your website and it looks like Craigslist, or it looks like just unaesthetic, their perception of your business and your brand is going to match that quality they see on the website. Even if you're an amazing detailer and you're doing an awesome job, your website looks crappy, it can reflect poorly in somebody's mind, that is trying to figure out who you are.
And so with these, so you narrow down where they're going to go, and what typically does a service like this cost the detailer a month? Highs and lows, and what do they get for that? And the reason I ask this is, a lot of the guys get shell shock or sticker shock. I mean, when they approach one of the companies, because they just don't realize how much it's going to be. And some of them are, they want to come in and build you a website from the beginning. Even if you have one, they want to take that over, and it's really big. I think somebody maybe would do well to offer these guys something at a lower package that could move the needle from them and then take them up from there. Because again, a lot of the newer businesses, where you were saying, may not have the funds. But anyways, I digress. That's just what I'm thinking in my head. Yeah,
no, for sure. It's a great question. And that's, so I'll kind of answer that a couple ways. So our packages right now go anywhere from $1,000 up to, I would say most people, we have our most popular, so to speak, is $1,500 a month. We do have people that are paying more than that. Now, granted, the biggest thing that people are looking at from the financial investment, we look at return on investment. So like if we're charging you $1,500 a month, and then that doesn't include ad spend. So most of our guys, I would say, are spending $1,000 in ads. Now, ad spend, a lot of times we say this, you don't have to pay for that up front. So if you did start, you at least aren't out all that, at once. But if you're all in $2,500 a month, looking back, we're aiming to make you 10 grand or so off of that when we typically hit that. And we have guys that make, and again, there's other factors at play here, which is why, we focus on like your online reputation, new customer acquisition, and things like that. But we have guys that'll make 25. I mean, I'm not kidding you. That'll make 25 grand off of $2,500 investment, and you do that over 2 or 3 months. It's a game changer. But we have people that'll pay $3 grand a month, but they also do boats. And again, from a return on investment standpoint, we get somebody a boat that's 15, maybe 8 grand up to 10, 12. There's detailers at all levels, up to 15 grand off one job, ceramic coating a boat. We can easily charge $3 grand, spend $2 grand in ad spend, get you 2 of those. You just made 30K off, $5 grand or whatever I said. So it's I think it's a mindset thing. And again, that's why, looking at it from an investment standpoint, having the funds, obviously you need to trust people. Now, I will say for us, I know that's for a lot of these guys, it's a barrier. We do have a 60-day money back guarantee. That's our biggest thing to try to limit this risk.
I think most people do not have that. And what I hear from, some of the guys who go through and work with a ABC marketing company, is that they feel after a couple months when they're not seeing any results that they're being ripped off, and then they quit. Is there a certain amount of time that you really have to stick with something? Is that kind of the 60 days you feel like you can turn stuff around? That first month might be kind of slow, but by the end of the second month, you're confident enough in your services that you're like, hey, if it's not working, we'll give you the money back. Because nobody else have I heard say that at all. They usually have a pissed off person, and they're like, yeah, I felt like I just paid this guy $3,000 for the past couple months, and I got one job out of it.
Right. No, for sure. Great question. And we're very much invested in the detailer success. And that's not, smoke and mirrors. And the reason I say that, think about it from our business standpoint. If I try to sell you snake oil or something, let's say, you pay $3 grand for 2 months. It's way more advantageous to me for you to stay on with us for 2 years, because, if I'm charging you $1,500 a month, whatever the math is there, I'm going to make, 40 grand off you over 2 years, because I'm making you a lot of money too. We're all winning together. Whereas, if I'm burning people left and right, eventually my name's going to get out there that we suck. People are going to be pissed off, and I'm having to work 10 times harder to try to sell, like I said, snake oil to somebody. So we're the 60 days. There's a reason why we do that. Typically our systems are market tested, so we have a great starting point. And this is why I would strongly at least recommend working with an agency that stays in the detailing niche. And I've learned this myself, because even when I did e-com and all these other things, we had pet food companies, we had fitness companies, we did like stuff for a nursing home one time. You're always starting at square one. That from the marketing agency, you got to remember, like, these people are, if they haven't worked with detailers before, they're having to learn all, like, what you do, how all this works, what the market's like. Whereas somebody like us that sees this all day, every day, we see sales conversations all day, every day, so we know how to sell. It's just going to set you up for success. So when somebody launches, we come into it, 10 steps ahead with our system, with ad copy media that we know that has worked. Every market still is different. Florida's different than New York. California's different, than Ohio, whatever it may be. So we fill those kind of differences out, so to speak, I would say, the first 30 days. Some guys start day one and things go through the roof, and we have guys that will make, literally 10 grand in the first 2 weeks, because they've never done advertising. They're like, holy crap, now that I'm actually putting something out there, giving people an opportunity to buy, people are taking up on it. They've just never known how to do it or how to do it in the past. We also do something that's called a database reactivation. So I didn't get into this much earlier, but our phase 3, as we call it, is recurring revenue and lifetime value.
Perfect. I'm glad that you got back to that, because I kind of, I shifted gears on us on accident. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're great. And it ties in perfectly to this. So what another big thing is, if anybody listening, if you don't have a CRM right now, use an Excel sheet, use something. Definitely collect customer data, and don't put it on like a sticky note.
Do you guys have a CRM in your system?
We do. We do. Yeah. We have everything. CRM that can, set tasks, set notes. You can text out of our platform. That's a big advantage we have is two-way text communication. You can email out of our platform. There's a lot of features. I won't go down the rabbit hole there, but with the database activation,
I think you're absolutely correct though, because we do business coaching and we work with a lot of newer, companies, and that's step number one. You got to have a CRM. Like in today's time and age, I probably say that as much as I do. You need to put money in a retirement account. It's just you can't function properly without it. Now I'll be quiet again.
No, absolutely, for sure. And the reason that, if you're not collecting that data, have it now, because what we see is, okay, back to like the financial standpoint, let's say $1,500 a month, and then knowing that you're going to spend maybe $1,000 for the next 30 days in ad, like, okay, that's a lot of money. What happens is when you have this base of existing customers, let's say the last 50 people's cars you retail, the last 20 people's cars you retail, what we do is we create some sort of offer or some sort of incentive. We plug those people into our system. We set up an email drip campaign or a text message blast campaign that says, hey, Luke, we appreciated you doing business with us and getting your car detailed. We wanted to let you know that, we have a summer ceramic coating special going on right now. You get 10% off our most popular package. Is this something you'd be interested in? And what people don't realize is they don't ask for the sell enough from people that already know, like, and trust you. I mean, these people have been in your shop. They've, been blown away because they took their crappy looking, interior. Now it looks amazing. They love you for that. They know you do a good job. They probably know who you are as a person at this point, especially the smaller guys. So when you create some sort of offer or just present that opportunity for somebody as like an upsell or whatever that may be, people will make, I'm not kidding you. People will make 5 or 10 grand, like, in days, because they put that offer out there and, hey, book this week only or whatever it may be, add some scarcity to it.
I think most people don't even touch that, which you spoke about it earlier. Trying to keep the customers that you already have is a lot easier and less money than trying to acquire new customers.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why that phase 3 is, like we talked about, recurring revenue and lifetime value. So, if somebody gets a detail, we'll try to upsell them into ceramic. If they get ceramic, then we create. So that's another big advantage that we offer with our clients are these what we call email flows, text message flows, meaning we create points of contact intentionally. So like maybe 30 days after your car leaves the shop from ceramic coating, you get a text that's like, hey, hope you're enjoying the coating. Just want to see how things were going. Or, maybe even we create an offer then, hey, hope you're enjoying the coating. Wanted to give you 10% off an interior detail. Bring your car in, we'll check it out, make sure the coating's holding up, quality, whatever. So it kind of, again, the messaging, we're very persuasive about that as our marketers. There's a lot of intent to where, somebody may have just bought, they're still loving their coating. Now they have maybe 10% off an interior detail, gets them back in the shop. Maybe they didn't get their wheels coated last time. They didn't get windows coated last time. So again, it gives you another opportunity to upsell them into the higher packages that you take somebody who maybe originally just did an exterior detail with you, $200. Now they've spent, for simple math, let's say $1,000 on a ceramic coating. Now they're at $1,200. Maybe you coat, rims, glass, tire, whatever, another interior detail, $1,500. So you take them from $200 to $1,500. And if you do that, across however many, half of your client base, you literally, 5x your yearly revenue off of not even getting any new customers. You're just increasing the value of what you already have.
So don't overlook what's already right in front of you.
And so when we talk about industries earlier, that's a big e-com thing. So like in e-com, you're always looking at like, how do you increase the average order value? And if you guys shop online, once you're aware of this stuff, you'll start seeing it. So perfect example. I don't know if you guys can see this painting behind me, but I got it like off a decor site. Basically, when you go to check out, it says, hey, would you also like to add this other painting for 40% off. And so since they've already taken your credit card information, you're already in a buying mood. You're like, screw it. I'm going to get 40% off this other one. Sure, it's a good deal right now. I might as well do it. And so same thing in e-com, they just took you from maybe $100 to now, 160 or whatever it was. They're both $100. And so it's taking, again, these principles that you might see out there and thinking creatively of how you could apply it to the detailing industry. But yeah, lifetime value is, the name of the game, because then if you can acquire a customer, whatever your acquisition cost is, if you can increase that lifetime value on the back end, it allows you to then acquire customers at a higher cost. Obviously you wouldn't necessarily want to, but it gives you more kind of flexibility on that, because knowing you're going to be very profitable on the back end, you have those systems in place.
And with everything that you do you run A and B split testing, or have you done it enough at this point that you already just know what's going to work?
Yeah, we're always testing. I think split testing is just the name of the game. We're always looking for the best out there. You have to be careful not to go down the rabbit hole of that. I mean, being in the space for a while now, we have our landing pages things like that, are pretty set in stone, so to speak. But perfect example out in California just recently, Teslas are huge out there. So when I think we've got 5 guys out in California, Southern California, we'll target Tesla owners, and then, we'll compare that against maybe say like BMW owners, or just like, let's say like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, whatever. And we'll see, hey, we can get Tesla owners as leads for, $10, $15. Maybe it costs us $40 to get a BMW in. So we look at like cost efficiency, for simple math, and just hypothetical. If Tesla's $10 lead, BMW's $50. If we're spending $100, we're going to create 10 opportunities off Tesla, 2 off BMW. If you close, whatever 50% of those, you're going to make 5x the return, just because your acquisition's like cut a fifth. And now you spend $1,000. We have a pretty interesting, I love looking at the numbers for people that are analytical. I won't talk about it on this because it'll just get confusing. I'll confusing myself like I almost did just then. But, it's basically like you see, okay, you use like $100 in ad spend. Well, now you think about, okay, well, what about if you spent $1,000, whether that's in the month, or what if you spent $10,000? You see that, over the course of a year, you can add $150,000, whatever the difference is, between the two. My point being, you can add tens of thousands of dollars to your bottom line simply by split testing on the front end to see where you're going to get cheaper, lead costs, or, whatever your system's going to work. And that's where too, we see a lot of guys in the past. One of the objections, or, if you want to call it that we get sometimes, like, or people will say is, I've tried Facebook ads and they don't work. And it's like, okay, well, maybe from that previous analogy, you're just going after BMW owners. You haven't ever tried to target Tesla owners, or, maybe you've just used these crappy photos that, you took in a garage. You've never tried using a video of like pouring water on the, a coated versus, uncoated hood or something. So there's all kind of variables. The beauty of marketing is it's a science. It's like an ongoing experiment, basically. But if stuff isn't working, there's usually always somewhere you can go next. I mean, it's usually never like oh crap, we're done. There's nothing we can do. There's usually always some sort of traction and foothold you can find, explore that further. Then, if you've got great results there, keep pumping money into that, and then test elsewhere and see if you can even beat what you just were able to do.
It seems like one of the biggest misconceptions about a ceramic coating, or something that nobody, whether they have a compliant warranty or not, actually covers, is that car is going to be hydrophobic for the whole time that it's covered. They say it's not going to have bird poop stains and bug guts and stuff. But the main 99.9% of the marketing for ceramic coatings is just what you said, pouring water onto that surface to show that it's hydrophobic. And
so the main thing, though, with that is just having that hook point. And that's what gets people's attention. It is, and that's why knowing psychology, or just, what works, again, we use pouring water on a vehicle to catch that person's attention, get them to learn more about coatings, maybe reach out once they do read that, hey, yeah, it does help protect against all these other things. Then once you have the conversation and learn more about their individual vehicle and their needs, then, you sell to that. But it's kind of like dangling the like shiny object in front of, or like the little rattle in front of the baby. It's like, hey, look over here, what this can do. we're using that as our lure to then kind of draw them in and go from there.
So I'm picking up what you're putting down. And a lot of times what we call detail porn, a lot of the detailers who make their own videos, it doesn't really say at all what the product is going to do or how it's going to change your life if you use it. They show the fanciest car that they've ever touched, and maybe they're polishing it for a second, maybe they're wiping some coating on. But that's not really addressing what's in it for me on a customer's head. But that's really seems to be what you don't see a whole bunch of people taking Toyota Camrys and focusing on the reason you should get this coated is because you have a compliant warranty, and if you have kids, it's going to cover any of the terror that they're going to cause on the inside of the car, or that this is listed on Carfax and you're going to be able to resell your car for a higher value at the end of the road. They pour water on it and they show a Lamborghini. Is that correct?
No, so it's a great point. So, and that's why you want to have, when we talk about, like, at least in our system, we have the landing page. So again, it depends who you're targeting. And when we go back to the Tesla owner, what we like to do is, if we know we're targeting Mr. Tesla owner, we're showing a photo of a Tesla, our creative, as we call it, is a Tesla that's either been coated or, showing some sort of benefit or whatever. We want that one-to-one, we call it like one-to-one marketing, making it feel like, oh shoot, this is what, I have a Dodge Charger. Now I'm seeing a Dodge Charger on my newsfeed, talking about getting it coated. But the Lamborghini, that's a great question, because we've seen this in our experience. If you get too focused on the Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren type thing, that's obviously a very small market, first of all. And that's usually like a network thing. To get more of those guys, you're usually going to tap into those circles and then be referred to a lot of those. You're not going to get as much, I don't think, of the new customer acquisition that way. Not that we haven't seen it. We had a guy get a 2020 Urus just last week off of one of our ads. So not that you can't, but you've got to be careful, because yes, what people don't realize, and I think, right now, and this is something that we want to, what's the word? We want to like break through, kind of, so to speak, is have the education to where we want to start, maybe selling ceramic coating to like like you're talking about the Mama 3. Like, we want to start getting that education component across, because there's a massive audience out there. Traditionally, it sells to the car guys because they know more about it, or they have the new Mercedes, or they have the new Mustang, and they want it to stay clean, whatever. That's more of obviously the popular market. But that's why, like, again, when we want to think bigger, like, how do we tap into, like we said, the mom of two, who takes her kids to soccer practice, and maybe you do interior coating even because they're spilling drinks, or they've got cleats in the back that's getting grass everywhere, or, stains or whatever, way easier to maintain. Maybe they go fishing on the weekends, and so they're always driving out to their ranch and their car's getting dirty. This, helps solve that problem. So, it's being very intentional with the education piece. And if you get too down the Lamborghini hole, as we call it, people think that this is just for, this is for exotics, or this is for, sports cars. And they're like, I don't have a sports car, so this isn't relevant to me. When in fact, and I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this will relate, in some of our territories, we see like just truck, like F-150s, F-250s are the hottest market, out there. Raptors, things like that, we'll go heavy on trucks a lot of times because those will outperform sports cars.
And trucks are so darn expensive now. I think all the cars are. It's just craziness. I think your starter cars are like $24,000 or $26,000.
But yeah, that's why it's kind of knowing, and again, like knowing your area, knowing your market, what's there. Do you have a lot of guys that are in construction that are using their trucks? We see that. Or if you're maybe, if you're in a more affluent area, maybe they've got big trucks that are pulling campers, whatever it may be. Maybe it is just a big sports car market. But a lot of people, if you don't know the different avatars out there, because there's usually multiple ones, there may be the truck guy who loves this truck. He spent a ton of money on truck. Some people spend as much on a truck as they would on a, like a new Mercedes or whatever. You've got these different markets out there, and it's like, how do you speak to those people differently? But be able to pull from all of that, whereas if you're just going for the sports car, you could 3x your overall business revenue by just, positioning yourself a little bit differently or having messaging for some of these other people. And just, again, the education component. I think the education is big just because it's still, and to me, it's still a relatively new product. I know it's been around, for years at this point, but the general public has no idea. A lot of the general public, as I call it, still really has no idea about this, which I think is exciting because it creates massive opportunity. And as we're seeing, some of this is going into homes now, and we're seeing it expand into, all these other things. If you get, most people become fans of ceramic coating, that if you can educate them, going back to a truck, get them to coat their truck. We've had guys coat RVs. We've had, guys coat Can-Am, side-by-sides, ATVs, all these toys, boats. That person who never knew about who ceramic or what ceramic coating was, because they saw your ad, they get it for their truck, then they get it for, their side-by-side, then they get it for their boat. You could make 20 before we see it. We had a guy come in with 7 vehicles off of one of our leads the other day. Just because you're putting that opportunity out there, you can really create some high revenue for yourself by letting just people know you exist. And again, putting that education piece out.
All right. So I want to touch on one more kind of thing, and that is reviews. And we talked earlier about how important it is to get reviews. It's almost impossible to get people to leave you reviews. If you do something bad, they're very quick to leave you a terrible review. But yeah. And this is for every business, everything, I would think. Even this podcast, I know that it's getting downloaded 300 to 500 times a week, the audio side of it. And I talk about reviews all the time. Now, you would think everybody who's listening to this thing would be like, you know what? I'm just going to go and just leave a review for this on whatever I'm listening to. But even though the 300 to 500 people who listen to it every week, they still don't go and do it.
Yeah.
How? Yeah. And so, and they know how important it is for their business because predominantly our audience is small business owners. So how do you actually get people to leave you reviews?
Great question. Yeah. So 2 big elements with reviews. Number one is timing. Number 2 is incentive. So as soon as if we're talking, let's say ceramic coating, as soon as they pick up their vehicle, they're ecstatic about, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was my car. I dropped it off and now it looks like something new. Ask for the review right then, but don't just verbally ask for it. And this is why in our platform, we text them, because a lot of communication is already done through text anyways. People like text nowadays. You're just going to see it more and more. E-com brands, everybody's doing text message marketing. Send the review link through text. And then if if you don't get it within a day or 2, send another one, just be, hey, we're asking for it again. But it's timing. It's hitting them when they're emotional. Because like you said, when people are pissed off, think about it. Emotion, I'm pissed off. I'm going to go leave that review and really tell this person, give them a piece of my mind. But if I'm super pumped up, and I'm like, dang, man, this car looks amazing. And you're like, I know that you're the detailer that just worked hard to make this happen. And I really appreciate your service. If you ask me for a review while I'm excited and in that moment, I'll be like, heck yeah, man. I'll do it when I get home, or I'll do it right there. So try it. Obviously don't be aggressive about it from the timing, but really see if you can get it, when they're picking it up because they're happy. Because what can happen is if you ask for it 3 days later, they may take their car home. They were super excited for a day, and then life happened. Their dog's missing right now, and their kids are freaking out. And they're stressed because they're trying to find a dog. I don't know whatever the situation may be. So if you're like, hey, can you leave me a review? I'm stressed out because I'm trying to figure out where my dog went. That I'm like, I'll do that later. So timing is one. The second is incentive. So, hey, Luke, I'd appreciate it if you leave us a review. We enter all reviews into a giveaway every month for aftercare products. Or, hey, if you leave a review, you get 20%. If they're using Owner's Pride products, if you guys, aftercare, detail products, whatever, hey, if you leave us a review, you get 20% off. Your e-com order. And again, strategy. So think about it, because now, and this is where we love marketing and being creative, because you're asking them for the review with an incentive to get discount off product. So they're more likely to do it. But now you just increase the lifetime value, and you played the game on. They don't even realize they're not consumers. And it happens to me all the time. So it's like, it's all of us as humans, but we don't realize some of these things that happen until we look at them like, dang, that was smooth what they did there. But you get value out of it. So at the end of the day, you're still providing value. They get a discount. They get aftercare product that's going to help, keep everything. But yeah, incentive, whether it's a giveaway, whether it's, 10% off product or, some sort of maybe 10% off a detail. I don't know, whatever that offer may be.
I recently listened to a book called Predictably Irrational, and it literally hits on exactly that point. Okay, so if somebody, and again, I think one of the coolest things that you guys do is that you're confident enough to say, hey, if it's not working 60 days, then we'll give your money back. I have not heard anybody who's confident enough to say that about their business. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah. We're, like I said, we're very invested in anybody that works with us success. We're going to make sure that people are followed up with in a timely manner. We're looking at sales conversations. We're, going to give you all the tools and resources that we have. And like I said, if you, for whatever reason you feel it, the reason we offer that is we've never had anybody take that up, because I think we're confident in the results and just the relationships that we build with people. Seeing that we genuinely do care, we do want you to be successful. I think people always get value out of the interaction for sure.
How many people are in your company?
We've got 5 on our team.
Okay. And how many detail businesses do you work with?
We've got over 30 right now. So we're about to, a lot of the stuff we talked about, we've just added on some new stuff. So we've kind of taken, I will say, just to insights from our business, the last month or so, we've kind of taken a step back from selling to really look at like, hey, how do we make this better? What can we do? A lot of guys have aftercare products or just are getting into the, offering products within their shop. So we've started building out like email flows that try to upsell product or that try to then cross-sell product, have links in there so we can track. We built out all these workflows, like I said, with the email marketing, things like that, looking at everything, the offers that we're making for people, our landing pages, just the entire system to be better. So, but we're excited. We're about to be on the move to, try to really get this new product, as we call it. It's a service that we offer, but really try to get our new productized service in people's hands. So right. I think
if people want to get a hold of you, how do they find you?
Yeah, definitely. So our website is vexadigital.com. There's a contact form there that you guys can fill out and get in touch with us there. My Instagram personally is at Luke J. Howell. I'm pretty active on there. And then we do have our Instagram as well at Vexa Digital that they can reach out through probably those 3 main channels, or email. You can email me at luke@vexadigital.com. That works too.
All right. And then I'm going to ask you one last question, and it's kind of the signature question, but describe to me what success means to Luke Howell.
Success means to me, I think, and I'm stealing this a little bit from one of my mentors. His name's Andy Frisell, and if you guys never listened to his podcast or his content, it's amazing. But success is chasing the pursuit of your potential. So I don't think it's ever necessarily a destination that we're after, but success to me each day is showing up, knowing that, I gave it my all, that I took a step forward in life. I improved, I progressed. I think a lot of us, just in fulfillment in life and in happiness, if you want to go on a much deeper level here, what we truly find fulfillment and joy in is just progressing in life. Yeah, we want the destination, we want that 7-figure business, that, whatever that may be, that's going to, likely make you a little bit happier, but, just taking joy in the journey and, like I said, enjoying the progress.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be on the Owner's Pride podcast. Anybody out there who's looking at the digital marketing companies, I'd throw these guys' name into the mix also. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, like I said, if anybody's interested, we would love to have you reach out and just chat with you, if nothing else, and see if there's anything that we can do to help, whether you become a client with us or not. We're very invested in the industry and building our network and connections and just, being able to provide any help that we can.
And you got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
We hope you've enjoyed today's presentation of the Owner's Pride podcast. To learn more about our products, become an authorized installer, or to get a quote, visit ownerspride.com.